Hey guys, my name is Dr. Film, and yes, I'm qualified to be a doctor of movies.
Is that so?
Today in this video, I'm reviewing a new Marvel movie called
Venom, The Last Stand.
Now first things first, Tom Hardy did a pretty good job with all things considered. Despite his age, he still captures that same likable personality that we all recognize. Although, some of his lines can be pretty cringy at times. As for the supporting cast, yeah, they're just there to make this movie look good. The only function these characters serve is to either give expositions or to make hateful comments about the symbiotes and such. Especially this character, who's played by this guy. He's just your typical angry general who thinks he's right all the time.
There's an army coming that cannot be beaten.
Okay, seriously, is there a character in the Marvel Universe that he can play that isn't angry all the time? You know, someone who doesn't have anger management issues?
You want to get stuck reliving the same moment over and over forever or never having existed at all? I'm ready! You saved your own life and then whined about it like a wounded dog!
Shut up!
Oh, by the way, the Lizard was also in this film. And he's just there for the sake of cameos. And Lord knows he's not the only one.
Ralph Boner?
Boner.
That's just dumb. Anyways, as for our main villain, Null, played by Andy Serkis, he was barely in this movie, apparently. Most of the time, we see Venom evading these huge creatures who are basically a mixture between xenomorphs and white spikes. I mean, don't get me wrong, the film does showcase what the villain is planning for and such, but when you get down to it, the villain, his plans, and his creatures are all just so generic. Oh, and do you want to hear something else? It turns out Andy Serkis was interested to direct the third movie, but was unable to do so due to his commitments to Animal Farm, which will release in 2025. So screenwriter Kelly Marcel took over as director for this movie, and Serkis would go on to provide the voice for Null. So he returned to this third movie not as the director or a producer, but as a voice actor for this character Null, who we barely see in this third final installment of the Venom franchise. That sounds pretty harsh when you put it like that.
Yeah!
Oh, and as for the action was pretty fun and entertaining, but not as nearly as intense or life-threatening because, thanks to the first film, we all know Eddie Brock isn't going to die. As for the CGI for the Venom character looks good at times. But on the other hand, the CGI can look pretty awful at times. But then again, we're talking about a Marvel movie here, so we should probably get used to it by now, don't you think?
Yep.
Now as for the story, it barely has a 3-act structure, the pacing was surprisingly fast, it had this one character that contributed nothing to the story, the film never did explain what happened to Eddie's supposed love interest, and lastly, the ending of the story left me with nothing to gain from. And when you consider how the movie ended, what's gonna happen to Null now? Is he going to sit in the back corner until we need him in Avengers Secret Wars or something? Like what? Seriously, what was the point of all that?
Nothing!
Overall, my friends, I think it's pretty safe to say that we're not gonna get any more Venom movies after this. When you consider how things are going within the MCU, I don't think it matters anymore whether or not Venom is going to make an appearance next to Spider-Man or something. And even if he does, it just wouldn't work. It would be awkward and cringy. Heck, the last 3 films have been nothing but awkward and cringy. But I will say this though, despite the setbacks and the failure to meet our expectations, I gotta give Tom Hardy props for giving it his all for this role. And honestly, I think he deserves a freaking award after all of this. With all that said, I give Venom: The Last Stand a 6.5 out of 10. Well, the film is called The Last Stand, so here it is.